Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome on in. It is sSon 932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me. This is because of y'all. This is because of y'all. Y'all wanted me to watch Somebody's Son, as I am, to somebody's mother. I am the mother of two sons. Y'all like, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. So here I am. I'm caught up. We are going to go over episodes 1 through 3. And I say we because if you follow the post that I had, I was a guest on another channel this past Sunday. And, I have a guest. She has decided to join this channel to cover Somebody's Son with me. So we're both encouraged to talk about this. And I hope y'all do enjoy this live. Let me bring her on. It is actually Aubrey.
Hey there, hey there, hey there. What's going on, Elsie?
Wonderful. I'm so glad you're able to join me so we can cover this. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm great. It's over 80 degrees here in Detroit. So woohoo!
I don't even know what it is today. I have no idea. I know it's got to be over 80 in the South. I know
Right,
it's got.
right, right. There you go. Over 80 in the South.
No. Okay. We have Munira has come in, and now here goes AK F350. AK, come on now. You did the wrong homework. You're telling on yourself. You watch Never Ever Met. We said
Well, you can
Somebody's
come on
Son.
over to my channel Sunday at about 4 or 5 o'clock, okay?
Right. We did Never Ever Met on Aubrey's channel.
Yeah, so it's not you're not missing. You are prepared for what's coming on Sunday. So good job, good job.
Hey, the honorable leg jury, come on in, Munira. Hey, let's talk about it all. We are going to talk about it all 3 episodes. Like, yeah, you never turn on your TV, but the one time you turn it on, it's the wrong show. Girl, that's why I put a post. That's why I put a post. So, yeah, so I hope you will enjoy it because we're going to cover everything you missed, everything anybody missed, and we're going to give some commentary. And then I'm going to try and do weekly lives about this and fit it in with unpopular, unsolicited advice, that segment, and our Love is Blind recaps and reviews. And Aubrey does a lot of wonderful things on her channel as well.
Oh gosh, I just hate this. I wanted to say hi in the chat to your audience, but I'm just gonna say it up here because I told you about my new phone. I'm not signed into all my accounts, so clearly I'm not signed into YouTube at this moment.
Girl, I understand. So new technology, whoo, it takes up a lot of time to get you back to where you were.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So Somebody's Son, if we go, it's on OWN, okay? It's on the Oprah Winfrey Network, and it covers 3 sons who are on a dating journey, and they are being guided by their mothers, okay? They're being guided by their mothers. They meet 4 ladies at the beginning, and then the ladies are told that one of them are not going to be moving into the house with the man and his mother. Y'all, they find out, the ones who stay find out that mama also moving in. You ain't just dating him in this house. His mama gonna be supervising. And some like it and some like it not. Okay? Then the men find out at various intervals. The men find out that um Mama gets to decide who stays and who goes. Mama is directing the show. And for some men, it seemed like, okay, I trust you. And some men, it's like, yeah, no, not my mama. Okay. What were your thoughts on the overall for the first 3 episodes before we go into each man and his relationship with his mom?
Right, right, because there's one in there that I'm a little concerned about, but that's that's coming up shortly. I liked it. I thought the production quality was gorgeous. I mean, the houses that they picked, the cast looks great. Everybody's very articulate and has personality. Minus one or two, I thought were like didn't have a lot of personality, but I love the mothers. The one mother, she looks young enough to be to be a girlfriend almost.
That's what the ladies thought. The ladies was like, "Oh my gosh, he likes them older." Okay.
Yeah, what was that? Katina, I think. Chad's mom.
Yes, yes, Chad's mom.
She is beautiful.
She is she's gorgeous, but they did her real wrong. Hey D Brown, hey Samantha, we just started giving our synopsis. They did Katina wrong, and when we get to her, I'm gonna say why production and her son need to be fired for how they did her wrong. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna start off. Let me pull up these media assets. Y'all, this is an edited produced show. As I always say, we are just giving our opinion on what we are seeing on the screen. It is not necessarily encapsulate who these people are in their real life. Okay? We're just putting that out there. So let me pull it up. The first bachelor is Joshua. And I have here the bachelor with his mom, which in this case, Oma is his aunt. His aunt slash mom. She helped raise him. His mom is back and forth from Texas to Nigeria for family related, stuff. So his Oma is his aunt slash mother. You hear him call her mom several times throughout the show. Now,
Yes.
these four ladies here are who he met. I did not put them in any particular order because you could certainly see the show. But Martha is Nigerian and she came in beautifully dressed. Ooh, what did you think about Martha?
Oh my God, Martha! I really liked the Nigerian garb that she had on. I thought she was beautiful. I thought her figure was absolutely stunning.
She was. She came in and she came in with that fan. I am a sucker for a fan. And if you follow my channel, Love is Blind Habibi, you know there's a young lady there that had a fan for every outfit, every moment, and I loved her. And I love Martha came with a huge feathered fan that was bright yellow against her blue dress. She came for the drama. She came for the drama. And I loved it.
Yeah, she
Loved it.
did. She really did. She put it out there.
Next, we had Lexi. And y'all, these are photos I grabbed from the show. They do not have a proper press kit at all. I am very upset. Every show should have a proper press kit. So if my pictures look a little funky, it's because it was grabbed off of the television. Okay. So Lexi, we realized Lexi, and I need to pull up. I have my notes on these people.
Yeah,
Okay, let me.
I got Lexi as 30 years old,
Yep,
marketing manager. She's in tech, and she's also a single mom of two little girls.
that
And
she. Mhm.
and
Go ahead.
very interestingly enough, she's been engaged twice. So I'm curious if, and I don't want to be sound politically incorrect, but I'm curious if the little girls are from the two separate engagements. I don't know.
Right. That is what I'm wondering with Lexi as well. Just to pop back up, y'all, Martha is 26 and a nurse that we talked about before. She wants a Prince Charming and she wants a family. That's Martha's information. I'm sorry I didn't do Martha justice. But yes, Lexi is 30. She does have two daughters. She is the only single mother we know of so far.
Yes,
So far.
so far. And you know, and
Uh-huh.
that makes me curious. I just got to say this too. I wonder if she's the only single parent, meaning out of these three gentlemen that we're going to explore, I wonder if any of them are fathers.
I wondered that too. We didn't hear anything about kids with the fellas, and neither from their mothers, because I'm sure the mothers would have said something about grandbabies by now.
Okay, we'll continue on, but with shows on, you got to be careful of making assumptions.
Girl, we can't. We got to take it as we see it, as it's presented on the television. So
Yes.
next we have Tamaris, who is 29, a journalist. She's originally from Baltimore, Maryland. She's looking to build an empire. She feels, comfort in his energy when he opens the door. She said she's the one who said, "I ain't got no kids." Okay, I ain't got no kids.
Yep. Yep. I have for Tamara, I like that I thought she was very gorgeous. I liked her quote about building an empire with somebody's son. And I felt like as a viewer, she gave very warm and engaging vibes, like very down to earth.
I actually got the opposite from. Tamaris. I really didn't
Really?
think she was warm and open. I thought she was very stiff. She was very
Hmm.
withdrawn. And I was like, okay, I'll let her warm up because this is different. You know,
Right.
you're walking into a new reality dating show that you don't know anything about. But I didn't feel warm. Who I felt warm from was the next one, Chambrielle.
Yes, yes, definitely her too. Hmm.
You want to give us the stats on Chambrielle?
I want to, yeah, I'll go ahead and give you the stats. So Chambrielle, 32, mortgage broker, came in with those short shorts, the booty shorts, if you will. She's beautiful,
Mm-mm-mm.
beautiful young woman, very curvy, and she says that she's someone who values communication.
Now you got to tell us, is the booty shorts and the crop top with a little V in the front of the crop top? You got to give the whole effect. Y'all
Okay,
got to
okay.
go. She looked good, y'all.
She did.
Chambrielle
She did.
looked amazing. I wouldn't have worn it because I'm sorry, the way my thighs get together, I couldn't wear those shorts and still be decent for camera. But she rocked it. But
She
she
really
was
did.
like, hey, yeah, when his mama came out, she was like, yeah, the short shorts wasn't really the best thing.
But like you said, overall, her personality was so warm and engaging that she did very well this episode.
Right. And for Uma, Joshua is walking all these ladies. This is the setup for everyone. He is welcoming the ladies into the house. They don't know Uma is there. And she is in the background looking at everything, making comments. And I made notes. She said Lexi seemed a bit awkward. Tamaris, you look like she has no idea what's going on. And she said Martha came to be real serious. Okay.
Hmm.
And she said something about Chambrielle. She looked at the outfit, but she didn't really dig into her. But she just
No.
said, mm. So I didn't know what Oma meant about that, but that was her thought. So after they come in and they talk to Joshua for a bit, he goes back to talk to Uma. The only one they had disagreements about was Chambrielle. Okay, that's the only one they had a little disagreement with. But she was introduced to the group. He said there's another lady to meet and brought out his mom, Oma.
Hmm.
What did you think of the lady's reaction to Oma being there?
They were like, I think we would be if we were in their shoes. They were all like a very surprised and a taken back, very surprised and taken back. You know, like they didn't know if it was going to be like a fifth girl, a fifth dater, or not. But to see his mom, the, they were a little surprised and I think a little nervous at that point, especially Chambrielle, who had on those booty shorts.
Well, because Oma too was covered up. She was in her African garb as well, covered up, very loose fitting. So she's like, "Oh Lord, this is gonna be the end of me. This is gonna be the end of my time here." But Martha wasn't too. She was shocked, but Martha's like, "Oh, oh, a Nigerian connection. I got
Hmm.
this in the bag." Martha
Yeah.
said, "I got this. Y'all could go home because this is my man."
My man, my man, my man.
You got it. What did you think of Martha's confidence after she realized we got Nigerian roots together?
Yes, I unfortunately I think she may have began to shoot herself in the foot in that moment. I think that she got a little too cocky about what they had in common because we I think most of us women know um men don't look at it that way. Men look at, not necessarily the commonalities, they're looking at the attractiveness and the physical chemistry. So I think she got a little cocky and then also because I'm thinking that it really affected the way his mom looked at her.
It definitely did. And what Uma did, y'all, next, and this is the pattern for all the men. Next, she said, "Hey, we're gonna have an icebreaker, and we're gonna talk about certain things." So she reaches in a glass jar and pulls out some questions. And her first question was about physical intimacy. Martha said, "Very often, a lot. When you see me, you should be touching me." And Uma said, "That's too forward." What did you think about that?
Yeah, I don't I actually did not think it was too forward because there were no words used. Like, you know what I'm saying? In the description of what she said, she didn't say any, vulgar terms or words or any very graphic words. I thought I thought it was okay, but maybe by me not being Nigerian, my senses are more American than Uma. So probably why I thought it was just, it was an okay answer. But Uma seemed like she was a little shocked. And she said, well, in our Nigerian culture, we just don't talk around our elders like that. And I can understand that viewpoint also.
And that's what made me think that there was a piece we missed, because I was like you. I'm like, Oma, why is she so forward when she just said, if you're around me, you should be touching me? It doesn't
Yeah.
say where, when, or how. And I'm thinking maybe there's a vulgar piece we missed.
Ah, could be. Could be.
Okay, Munira says Uma didn't like Martha from the start. Don't understand why she was annoyed by Martha's answers in the icebreaker, but gave inappropriate advice and orders for the photo shoot. We'll get to the photo shoot, okay?
Good point.
Plain
Good point,
Plain
Munira.
Janie says he liked Martha, but Auntie clocked her, but he didn't fight for her like that other guy with Alexia. We will get to those two,
Mm,
y'all. Very great
hmm
comments, because he wasn't Joshua ain't put up much of a fight for anybody, did
No, no, he didn't. Well, you gotta think now. Did you mention this about Joshua, what he does for a living?
he? Go and give us the stats about Joshua.
Well, Joshua is an NFL football player. So, with that being said, guys, you could just imagine what his dating life has been like. He's a professional baller. He's only 28. He's been in the NFL since 2018. So he's a 6-year veteran. He's an entrepreneur, Nigerian, and he also models. So he's very gorgeous man, I think. But with
But
that
he's
being said, I think he might be a little cocky himself.
Yep, because he said he was playing when he was dating, and wasn't
Mm-hmm.
playing football. The way he was saying he was playing when he was dating, I was like, yeah, you were clubbing it up. So I
Okay.
wonder if the ladies in front of him, as presented here, if these are
Mm.
the type of ladies that he dated in the past.
Mm. He said
That
that
I have
one.
that question.
Yeah, he said that one. I thought it was interesting that he said Lexi was definitely his type. And I want to say this. Maybe I'm going to be starting something here. I don't want to offend anybody, but I also had a question about Auntie Mama Oma. Does anyone think that Uma was a little bit turned off by Martha also because of the complexion of her skin? Or was it just
I
me?
I wouldn't think so, because when we saw photos of his family, his mom in the photo seemed to be of a darker hue.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason I would say no. And I just don't know. I wonder if, sometimes when you have the same culture, there are culture nuances that we just don't know. You know,
Yeah.
I just think, I wonder if Martha is from a different sector within the Nigerian culture,
Right,
that
right,
Uma was like, "Oh heck no, we ain't going with," it's kind of like religiously, if Christian or Baptist. Oh heck no, you think people are religious.
right,
I just didn't think it was.
right.
I think it
Because
was
you're
just the
you're
overconfidence of being like, "Oh, we Nigerian, so I got this."
right, right. So I get what you're saying because Nigerian, just like Americans, just like African Americans, we're not a monolith. I get that, but for some reason, and maybe it's because of all the stories I've been reading about Nigerians and some other African countries where skin bleaching is very big amongst the Black community. Also, what I looked at, and again, I don't say this is for everybody, but for her, I was a little surprised that she had those hazel colored contact lenses in.
Yeah,
So I'm like, it even though someone's family can be dark, you would be surprised how many people, even though their family is dark and they might themselves be dark, they're looking for someone to come into the family to lighten it up, if you will. So I don't know, just me thinking.
I totally understand you. I totally can see that point of view. I need a little bit more from Uma for that, but yes, it could be seen that may be why she pushed it. Or, my thought is that don't be acting like you got this in the bag. I make the decisions around here, is what Uma was giving me. Don't think so. Uh-uh.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the first stuff that they were tasked to do. Well, no, sorry. I'm sorry. So sorry. We were at the physical intimacy. The next question they had was, how do you show you are romantic? Lexi said she likes to write love letters and make heart pancakes. Martha says she caters to her man in many ways, including massages. And Uma is like, Martha just trying to impress Joshua when she needs to be impressing me. Uma was on Martha's neck from the beginning.
Yeah. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Why though? See, that's why I say it. I don't understand why. If there's something we're missing, like you said, perhaps was edited out. I just don't understand why she was so anti Martha. Martha, yeah, she was a little cocky, but she was okay. She was okay with me, and I like you, someone you said it yourself. Elle said he didn't fight for her though, so I'm not sure who amongst these women outside of Lexi that he's really feeling.
Right. And just for the audience to know, yes, this is Somebodysson. It's on OWN Network. I know for right now, the first 3 episodes, you can certainly go to OWN's website and you can click on the episodes and you're able to view them, of course, with ads. But for right now, it doesn't have a paywall on this show for at least the first 3 episodes, in case you're wondering.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Munira thinks she doesn't like Martha's skin color. She only complimented Lexi out of all the girls. I believe Oma may have bleached her skin. So you do have Munira
Mm,
here in the comments
mm-hmm. All
who,
right.
is agreeing with you. So is Plain
Mm-hmm.
Janie. I have light-skinned Nigerian friends. So it could be that. I'm not discounting it. But we will get to find out how Uma reacts and continues to react to Martha. So we find out that Uma gets to decide who stays and moves into the house. And the ladies are shocked. But before that, Joshua was shocked. What did you think about that turn? That Uma's not just there to guide, but she's in control. What did you think?
Uma is a character. Let's just call it as it is. Uma is a real character. I like her. I like her. Like I said, she's got sass, she's got class, she's a real character. And she's there to let people know that, she is the ultimate decider. So I'm not mad at her about that.
Right, she is. She was a little gleeful. He just looked a little bit to the side, but he said he trusts Uma. She has raised him. He trusts her decisions in these things. So we're gonna find out if Joshua really trusts or really not. Because to hand your dating life over to someone is completely, completely different. So Uma decides that she talks about all the women, okay? She says she does like Lexi, but what about the father of these kids coming in to disrupt a happy home that he may try to have with Lexi? Did you think that was a legitimate concern?
Yes. Yes, I absolutely do. Just like I would think if the situation was reversed and he had two kids, yeah, I absolutely do think that's a legitimate concern. Um, you won't know by just dating him. The young lady, whoever he selects, will only know once he meets the child's mother. I mean, I'm sorry, once he meets the girl's father or fathers, as the case may be. He won't know that right off the bat. And just something, I don't know if I should say this right now, but I'm feeling like I don't know how Lexi is going to do in this transition. If someone's eliminated next, would you think it might be Lexi?
We'll get to that. We'll talk about the possible next elimination once we talk about this elimination for these
Gotcha,
three
gotcha.
episodes. And y'all, we're going to talk about the entirety of what Joshua has experienced for these 3 episodes. And then we're going to go to each of the men, but it did cross 3 different episodes.
Yes, that's
Um,
true.
Oma talks about Tamara. She's like, she likes that she will tell you what she thinks. She likes that I'm a clap back and tell you exactly. You ain't got to ask nobody. This is what I like and what I don't like. And Tamaris also was one of the ladies. She don't think that Mama deserves the first round pick.
Yeah, yeah, she did say that. She did say that. Do you think? Let me ask you a question, Elsie. Do you think Mom deserves the first round pick? What do you think?
I think Mama deserved all the picking, okay? Because if he had it correct and he knew what he was doing, we would be married and have grandkids already, okay? So Mama needs to be picking. I agree with Mama picking because whatever he been picking has been for a moment, for a season, not for a lifetime.
Now you do realize that Joshua is only 28, right? He's not even 30 yet.
And
Okay, you know, this generation that we're talking about right here, they are marrying much later. Shout out to my daughter that just got married. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
and how old was the bride and groom? Congratulations
Well,
to them.
all I can say is because my daughter would kill me, but all I can say is they're both mid 20ish. And I will say this, which is really interesting to me, though, because my daughter has never really dated younger. Her husband, her now husband, is younger, about 4 or 5 years younger.
Wonderful for them. Absolutely wonderful for them. And 28 ain't that hard. And 28 ain't that hard. I was married the first time at 24. So it ain't that hard.
I know I was married at 25, but that's not the point. We're not in their generation.
I understand. I understand. And it does take a longer time. Some in this generation, it takes a longer time for them to get established. And I understand that. But again, if he was picking for
Hmm.
longevity, he would have been fostering a relationship with a woman already.
True that.
So
True that.
so either he missed his blessing or he
Hmm.
ain't standing in line for a blessing. Okay?
Right. I think it's the latter. I think that he was like, look, you know what? I'm out here having fun. Now, hopefully, this is the thing. This is my thing with having fun. Hopefully, he was honest with the ladies he was having fun with.
Hopefully, or else we're gonna find out on the internet because you know he on this show now. It's gonna be all over the internet.
Oh, good point. Good point.
If these
I will
ladies, if it comes out that he had 2, 3 engagements before this, I'm gonna look
mhm.
at Joshua sideways.
I will be scouring Reddit. That's my new job. This afternoon, I will be scouring Reddit looking for stories and people saying, hey, I'm his ex and this is what he did to me. Okay.
So Uma has to decide which lady is leaving. I will let you do the honors, actually, Aubrey, and tell us which lady was sent home.
Well, I hate to say it, but our darling Nigerian princess, Martha, 26-year-old nurse, got the boot. But you know what was funny to me, though? As she was being walked out by Joshua, he wanted to know if he could have another hug. And Martha got right into that uh, Lincoln vehicle and did her size and probably rolled her eyes too, no doubt, but we couldn't see her eyes. What do you think?
She did the right thing. Don't be trying to squeeze up and feel up on me, and your mama just sent me packing. Oh heck no, that's a player move right there. That was a
Exactly.
player move. You wanna get a last squeeze in before you send me packing in this car? Boy, get out of my face.
Does it kind of remind you a little bit of RTL, Ready to Love, where sometimes the guys, as they're walking the lady out, they want to try to get a hug and a booty rub?
Right. It does remind me of that. And in no way am I insulting him. I say, boy, get out of my face. I'm thinking of it like my son is like, but it's like, get on my face with that. It's a player kind of move that men don't understand what we mean by, it's also for you to get up close to me, feel me up, and,
Hmm.
come up on me before you cast me aside. No, I wouldn't want to feel on you like that. Not at all.
Right, right. I agree. I agree with you. I absolutely agree.
So Martha was sent home, y'all. She was put up in a lovely black vehicle and sent off. She was not allowed to move in. And the very next day, we have an activity that Uma is directing. Uma is directing them for a photo shoot, a very intimate photo shoot. And who did we have first up on this photo shoot, Aubrey?
Oh, nah, you know what? My notes don't go that deep. I'm sorry. Oh, wait, wait, wait,
Okay,
wait, wait.
first up,
Yes, they
first up
do,
was
but I have to
Lexi.
find it. But go ahead, go ahead.
First up was Lexi. She
Lexi,
was in the
yep,
kitchen
yep, in the kitchen. You're right.
and he was washing dishes and her hands were behind his waist over on onto him. Then she was
Mm-hmm.
sitting on the counter. She was feeding him the whipped cream. Everybody's like, "Ooh, ah, what's going on?" Looking kind of
Mm.
sexy there. And Uma was directing him to feed her strawberries, everything. Uma was having fun.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of that lift that Joshua did when he got her up on the countertop? The open leg lift.
Well, the lift to the countertop was really for his sake and also for her. She knows now that he can bench press her. We didn't know how
Oh.
much Joshua can bench press, but we know he can bench press her at least,
Mm-hmm.
for this moment onto the counter. He didn't pull a muscle, so we know he's a little fit, okay?
All
He's a
one
free
hundred
agent.
and
He needs to not lift these ladies. He's a free agent. The NFL gonna be watching to see if he's pulling muscles or doing any any harsh activity.
that's true. I was just gonna say all 115 pounds of her.
Right. Right. Nick, what did you think of that photo shoot in the kitchen?
I liked it. I thought that they definitely showed that they had chemistry, and the chemistry seemed to me it was two ways. It wasn't just him digging on her; she was also seemed to be digging on him. So I liked it. I love their chemistry. I like also how the part where he lifted her up on the countertop and they were very close, looking into each other's eyes. They almost kissed, and the girls that were sitting there, they were observing, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, she's already won. We don't. It's no need for us to even go next."
That's what they both said. Great chemistry. They were like, "Yep, yeah, we done. There's nowhere we can take this that'll be better than what they just did." Next up, we had Chambrielle, and she was on the stairs. I didn't know where Oma was going with this. She was on the stairs. She was handing him a glass,
Yeah, I didn't get that.
filled. I didn't get that either. But then eventually they were hugging on each other, and they went a little bit further. The foreheads were touching, the noses were touching, and then the
Mm-hmm.
lips were touching.
Mm-hmm. They were, and he said that girl's lips are soft. Yeah, they were.
And
They were.
Oma said, "They look good together." Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was gonna just say, another RTL line. I think it was Jason in the Dallas season or Houston season was saying they were kissing. They were kissing.
For real, for real. For real kissing.
How many kisses did,
So
did you count? I'm sorry, I just real quick. How
I didn't
many?
count it. It could have been three. It could have been five. I did not count it.
But it was
It was
over.
enough.
It was over two though, right?
Oh yeah, it was over two.
Okay.
And right after that, in the pool room on the pool table was him and Tamaris.
Yes.
She was pretending she was playing pool and she was guiding his hands. He could touch her hips and stuff like that. And then he turned her around, lifted her onto the pool table, and he tried to go in for a kiss. And Tamara said, "No, no, no.
Mm-mm.
Uh-uh. You got to wash your mouth out before you come kiss me after you done kissed another woman."
I'm not mad at her. I am not mad at her because he would not have kissed me either after having kissed Lexi or any of these other women. No, we're
In
not
front
doing
of
that.
me. And then Oma said she was right.
That she was right.
Yeah, Uma said she was correct. Don't have him kiss you right after you
Yeah,
done kissed another. She
yeah,
clocked it.
she did. Uma clocked it. She absolutely did.
But
But I
Uma
thought,
put him in this position.
well, yeah, but that's neither here nor there at this point. But what did you think about the chemistry? I thought these two once again had very good chemistry. But you know what? I'm kind of changing my thoughts though. You're right. Tamara's does come across a little conservative, a little bit. Yeah,
I mean, her outfit wasn't that conservative, but they all look beautiful. She
all
looked
of them.
especially, oh, I loved how Tamaris looked. But she had her boundary, and she's like, you ain't gonna be kissing me. She let him kiss her cheek, and when he went in to kiss again, is another. He went in like at least 3 times to try and kiss her, and she's like,
Yeah.
not happening.
And she got it. Now, whether the MFL player, whether he got it, because again, I'm just saying these ballers. He used to doing what he want with whomever he wants, because he's got a
So
league of women following behind him. But go ahead.
exactly, a league and then some. So we find out that whoever has the most intimate looking photo with him will win a one-on-one date with him.
I I I got a quick comment. I want to kind of go back. Is it okay if I go back a little bit?
Go ahead. We still on this group.
So yeah. So okay. So I don't know if we touched on this or not. But the fact that early on when they were talking, the ladies were talking with his mother. Um, they haven't these young ladies still don't know that he's an NFLer. They think that he's an entrepreneur. They don't know what exactly. And even I think it was Lexi said, "Well, we're not getting enough specifics. What kind of entrepreneur? What do you do?" But they're not aware that he plays in the pro league. And the reason why Uma said is because she doesn't want. Basically, I'm going to paraphrase. This is not the word she used, but basically because they're not looking for no gold diggers.
That is correct. They're not looking for someone who is after his money and going to be acting funny because he's an NFL player. So they will say that later on, I'm guessing, or maybe he
Mm-hmm.
wait till the end. And y'all, the end is not marriage. The end for this show is if they will be dating exclusively after the show. So that is the goal here, is to dwindle it down to a lady that he will date exclusively, and hopefully it'll lead to marriage. So here's the question. We never got to find out who won the photo shoot.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you because I thought I maybe missed something, even though I watched it a few times. I couldn't figure out who won the photo shoot either.
Right. For the other ones, we find out who won their event. At least one of them, and we didn't find out who won with Joshua. So we see Joshua and Uma in episodes 1 and 2, and we don't see them at all in episode 3. So I'm guessing they're trying to ease us into all three of these guys and their moms, but we don't know who won this intimate photo shoot to know who got the date with him.
Well, if I can say just my commentary very briefly, I think that Lexi, honestly, photo wise and chemistry wise, I would have said she won it. That's just me. And Chambrielle was a close second.
Right. I need to see the photos though. I need to see the camera angle that the actual photo to be judged will look like, because I agree with you, but I know sometimes the photos can look very, very different if you're like, I didn't see that. The cameraman got
Mm-hmm.
some skills.
Absolutely. Well, so did you, like me, you think that what we saw as a flash, as a shot, that wasn't the real shot? That was just them pausing the camera? Is that what you thought?
I think so. I need to see what Uma is looking at to judge it. But if I'm looking at it, for the chemistry of it all. Hey, K Sharp, welcome in. If I'm looking at it, I would say Chambrielle would have won it, but I don't know what the pictures say. I
Okay.
mean, she's
All
the
right.
one that got the kiss.
Yeah, she got the kiss, but again, I guess I'm looking at from what I saw, what we were shown on TV, what was supposed to be the actual photos. The actual photos on TV, it for me, it was Lexi.
Okay, so we shall see next episode, which is on Saturday. I believe this is on at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Whether Aubrey, her Lexi won, or for me Chambrielle won, or if we both lost and Tamaris won the internet photo shoot.
She
We
was a
will.
little too tight there. She was a little too tight. And I'm not just talking about the kiss. She was just a little too stiff.
Yeah, she was. She was just a little bit too stiff, but we'll find out. Y'all have who our selections are, And was there anything else you wanted to say about Joshua and Oma before we head on to the next son and his mother?
No, let's do it. Let's go ahead and get over to the next son.
Okay, the next son and his mother, okay, y'all, the next son and his lovely mother is James and Charlize. Now, James, we find out, is 30 years old. He's in cybersecurity engineer. His taste is on the wild side with women, is what he said in his intro. His mother said that she has had to pray 2 women away because he keeps bringing home rescues.
Yes.
And he is fighting being a mama's boy. But y'all, he calls his mother bro. And if my sons call me bro, we done. We done.
What would you do, Elsie? If you're saying, what would you do?
I'll pause the conversation. I pause it. It's like, bro, wait a minute. Who are we speaking to? Because your tone changes when you get into a bro tone. I'm not your bro. I'm your mom.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what my children will turn and say, mother. Okay, mother. It's like, oh, okay, so you being snippy and I'm being snippy. I'm not your bro. I'll redirect it right back. I'll redirect it right. Wait a minute. How comfortable are we getting? But yes, he keeps bringing home rescue, and she had to pray some away. And these are the ladies that he had in front of him. Ooh, what did you think first of James and Charlize?
I think this is I'm just going to say it now that we're on them. This is the couple, and I use the word couple not so loosely. These two, as a mother who has a grown son, these two, in my opinion, they too close. They too close. They too close, and he is definitely giving off mama's boy vibes, which to me, yuck, ooh. But I mean, overall, I felt like James was a nice, respectable guy. We could see from his photos that he's a world traveler. He loves to travel. We know that he's a Baylor educated and, as you pointed out, a cybersecurity engineer. So when I hear the word engineer, I'm always impressed. Okay. And let me just say, because I'm a sapiosexual. I love intelligent, smart men. So that was good. And Charlize, well, we're going to find out. Is it okay if I give them a little bit of background that Charlize is actually, what is it, a reverend or minister or a pastor?
I don't know exactly which one she is. He said she teaches. And I
Teaches.
thought
Okay,
it was
so
just Sunday school.
maybe it's a Sunday school teacher, but she's definitely very religious. Okay, I'll say that. So that's what I thought of them so far, my observations.
Oh yeah, she told you that because if she had to pray 2 strays away, you knew she was hyper religious. Now, she's the one that she really threw them for a loop. But let's start with the ladies. The ladies, how they entered. First was Brivon, 31 years old, an entrepreneur. She was in the pageant life. She is looking for a God-fearing man, okay, and she won't settle for less. And she just knew they were a match when he opened the door, and that's her new boo. What were your thoughts on Brivon?
Brevon, she's gonna be fun. She's gonna be fun to watch this season. I like Brevon. I'm not so sure until we get a little further in whether or not Brevon is living on this planet. Is she realistic, or is she a little bit delusional? um and she's quite a chatty Kathy. That one scene where she was talking, she just kind of she gave a little bit too much. A little bit too much.
Yeah, I wouldn't say she's in outer space quite yet, but she is certainly elevated. Okay, she she is orbiting the Earth. She's still within the gravitational pull of the Earth. I wouldn't say she's out there yet, but she gave me clues that she could be out there.
She could be, yes. That's the clue that I'm getting to. Yes, could be. But I liked her. I liked her.
Right. Next to enter was Sabrina. She is 29, a property manager, and she wants somebody family oriented. She's a cutie pie. I like Sabrina.
Little cutie pie, a very petite cutie pie. And I like the fact that I got the impression that she's really a very natural beauty. She didn't have a lot. I couldn't see where she had a lot of makeup on, just a little bit to enhance, but not like sometimes some of these girls come on with like inches of makeup. But she looked like a just a beautiful natural beauty, and she seemed very sweet.
That she did. That she did. Next to walk in was Elisa. Elisa, 25 years old, marketing coordinator and part-time nightclub hostess. She says she does that to get herself outside the house. She wants a chivalrous man, and she's from Dallas, Texas. And Alyssa is here for the cameras, in my humble opinion. She here for the show, not for the sun. What are your thoughts on Alyssa?
Yeah, 25 marketing coordinator. I said in my notes she's got a banging bod. But she's giving off some strong bottle girl vibes, which that would not for me as a mother be like a strong match for my son. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm with you. It will not be a match for me for my son. It is given we are in these streets. D Brown says, I like Sabrina. She's a natural beauty and a sweet demeanor. So I guess she does agree with you, Aubrey.
I said it. I think she is. She's just real sweet. Um, yeah. Go ahead, because we'll get to the end, and I have to ask you.
Yep.
Maybe I'll type it in the private chat to see if it's okay to
Okay.
speak on something I noticed. But go ahead.
Last to walk in was Chisholm, who is 28. She is an IT consultant and also a physical instructor. And she wants someone who is goal oriented. Now, she was very nice and quiet, and she seemed quite fit. Quite fit. Oh my gosh. She was, she looked like she could give you a good old arm wrestle and, have you call it uncle. I mean,
Yeah, she's been in the gym. Let's say that she's been in the gym and she's been doing some strength training.
right. Yes, she is Nigerian. Her
Yes,
family
yes. Hmm.
is from Nigeria, and I think she said, was it Memphis? She said they.
I think she did. Yes, I think she did say they were. She was from Memphis, Tennessee. Yes.
Right. So, in all of this, when all the ladies came in, Alyssa said she doesn't mind sharing her man for a little while. And in
Hmm.
my notes, I said, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. What did you think about that little comment?
Um, yeah, I agree with her. I agree with her. I mean, it's still early times to be, claiming him, but I think if you're coming into this, I think maybe to some degree it's a mindset that you would have that this is going to be your boo. Because Brie Vaughn said the same, basically said that this was my man too. This is my boo. I thought it was a little odd going back to Brie Vaughn when she told him about that he would have to wear matching clothes with her. Um, yeah, okay.
Well, there's some couples that like to do that. I abhor that. We're not matching. We're not doing twinsies. I just don't. I prefer not to. Unless we're working in the same store where we have to have the same logo shirt on.
Yeah, same job, the same uniform. Yeah, but no, what my point is though, whether you like it or not, is generally speaking a thing that you would probably do once you got to know the person and you are a couple. So that's why I found it kind of odd that Brevon would say, well, we need to get matching clothes, yada, yada, yada. I think that one scene when they showed us that it was the beginning of us showing us how chatty and how this is maybe going to be edited to show us that this could be a problem with Brevon.
Could be because she's using a whole lot of tape. I mean, if we weren't digital, we'd be having to change the tape in the daggone camera.
Okay.
So let's talk about Charlize. Charlize, for each of the ladies, she said, Bree need to, Ravon need to fix that dress. Okay. She said, Sabrina, is that not a belly ring? She did not like that belly ring. She saw it too. Elisa, she said, oh, Elisa knows she cute. And she is not about nightlife. This is not real. And Chisholm, she said she likes her light makeup.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
This is
Yep.
where we have the first disagreement with mother and son. Mother don't like Elisa, but the son is all about Elisa. That is his top pick. And mom was like, not no bottle girl. She like you actually, Aubrey.
Yeah, and I think it's Alicia because I was counting the syllables, so it's for Alicia. But
Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Alicia, yeah, don't like the bottle girl. She doesn't like the bottle girl, but yeah, but he likes the bottle girl.
I mean, it seems like he really does. It's exciting. Is it exciting because he's used to, or is it something new? That would be my question about James's dating history. What has he been used to?
Good question. Good question. Well, the mom is basically telling us he sounds like he kind of likes bad girls, so maybe Alicia is right up his alley.
Maybe. So mom, the ladies find out mom's here. Okay, she comes out. He introduces there's one more lady here. Mom is here, and that kind of pulled everybody back. It reined them in. What do you think about the announcement when Mama came out?
Yeah, the girls, they once again they were shocked and awed. They were like, "Wow, what? We came here for the son. We didn't come here for the mom." So I think everybody was like, "What is going on here?"
So mom has her icebreaker, just like Uma did in the beginning with Joshua. And her first question was their longest relationship. Chisholm said her longest was 3 years and it was lovely. Bravon says, at 25 is when she started dating. She's the only girl in her family, and she's a pastor's granddaughter, and it was only for a year. And she keeps talking and talking and talking and talking.
Yeah, that part. Because I think Bravon won her some points. First of all, when she said that she waited to 25 to date, that she was busy getting her education. She, had this, religious church background. I think she won some points, but I think she should have cut it short after that.
She doesn't know how to edit herself. I will give you that. And sometimes people's eyes glaze over at a certain point. So next up, mom asked, "What about joint accounts?" And Alicia said one joint account at least, but she admits she's a spoiled princess.
That was Alicia that made the comment about the one secret, or was that someone
No,
else?
that's another lady for the other gentleman. But
Oh,
Alicia said
oh, sorry.
at least one joint account.
I agree with her. I mean, again, this is all personal opinion and thought and commentary, but I agree with her. My mom raised me, and this is just old school, old school. A married woman should always have something stashed away for herself. That's I'm sticking to that. You know, I'm sticking to that, and I wouldn't even say mine would necessarily be secret, but I'm gonna always have my own account separate. And absolutely, we should have a joint account because how else are we paying bills?
I don't mind it. It's not going to be my primary account. Joint account is for joint ventures, but I don't mind even with bills. I don't mind if it come out your account or my account. I
Okay.
don't mind who, as long as my name is on it and I'm a beneficiary. Okay,
Oh.
meaning my name could be on light bill certainly, but I need to be the beneficiary on your bank account, so I don't have to go through hoops to gain access to stuff. Okay.
Mm, okay. All right
Yeah, I
then.
don't I don't have to be primary. I don't have to be on the account because you can have your separate account, but make sure I'm listed as a beneficiary. So when I roll up at the financial institution, they know who I am.
Okay, so in other words, can I kind of shorthand this and see if this is correct? So in other words, let's say if it's your spouse and if something were to happen to him, then that you would have access to it upon his passing.
Right. Exactly. Whether
Okay.
his passing or he's incapacitated, I need to be
Incapacitated.
able to handle
Yeah.
our business.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now that makes perfect sense. That you're right. That makes perfect sense. Our pastor talks about that type of stuff. That makes perfect sense. You're absolutely right.
Hey, Lady T Bugs, glad you can join us. So the next question, Miss Charlize has is family. What is your relationship with your family? That's when we learned that Chisholm has roots in Nigeria, but Memphis is home for her.
Hmm.
Sabrina says she's close with her family and she visits them, every other day. And mom could see that as a positive, but James is like, hey, yeah, I like my family, but not that much.
says the mother's boy. I thought that was interesting that he would peep that or look at that that way. But you know what? I feel like she would probably feel the same way. She might possibly feel the same way about his mother and he being so close. So that's kind of a double-edged sword on that one.
Exactly, exactly. But Miss Miss Charlize, which I this is why I like her. Her next question is relationship with God, and she doesn't ask the ladies first. At least the way we saw it, she turned to her son and said, "What is your relationship with God?" She she let him have it first, and I love her for that. And
Yes.
he said he is a PK because his mom teaches. So I'm guessing I didn't know if it's his mom is the preacher or his dad, but I'm guessing.
Hmm.
But Alicia, yeah, I don't know if you saw this in this moment. I thought Alicia, she made a connection with them, with her mom, and her mom has cancer, and how that really, I guess, brought her relationship to God, a little bit stronger. But I felt like she was using that to gain points. I don't know if you got the same effect.
Yeah, I kind of did. But I also kind of did. Hey, Sean and Filter, what's up? What's up? Um, I also didn't mind it though. Like, this is a very awkward situation to think about it. You're just meeting the guy, and then, half an hour later, you're meeting his mom. This is a very awkward situation. So, how do you behave? So, I thought that she took a very smart way out of that question, answering that.
Well, she wasn't giving the best of vibes to Miss Charlize. Hey Sean, as you are somebody's son. I hope you're watching the show. Um, so mom and son go to talk, and mom gets to decide who goes home. And James is shocked. James thought mom is going to be here as just a support, as just an ornament, but James is shocked. And mom said, in her thing, Bree is love has a lovely spirit. Brevon Chisholm is lovely and she's driven. Sabrina, she loves her being family oriented, and Alicia is very adventurous like James. So, what did you think? And I'll let you have the honor of letting us know who Mom sent home. What did you think Mom talked about these ladies?
I think she hit each one of them fairly accurately, from what she saw and what we saw. And I think she hit the nail on the head sending Chisholm home. But the interesting thing is we're on episode 2 with this right now, and we've got both Nigerian ladies being eliminated. Is there some kind of, I don't know what's going on in the air, but yeah.
Oh, you trying to say we're not connected to our roots? Where is
Oh, and one other thing I want to say about Chisholm, is it just me, or does Chisholm to remind anybody else of Tawanda Braxton?
She does. She does. The
Mm-hmm.
minute I saw her, I was like, "You sure it's
Mm-hmm.
Memphis? You sure the family from came over to
Mm-hmm.
Memphis?" Because
Right.
oh yes, she did, and she was a very sweet spirit. I really liked Chisholm. I really thought she could bring so much to this, but she would not be able to bring us entertainment purposes. Like Alicia and Brevon, they are providing entertainment. So we need at least two heavyweights. In as far as big personalities, we can't have two quiet, ladies. So I agree with Mom. Sabrina, absolutely beautiful young lady, great disposition. But again, I think she's hiding her personality. I think Sabrina is kind of like a quiet horse that is coming up in the inside lane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
So,
like Sabrina. I like Sabrina very much. I do like her. She's one of two ladies so far. Well, just now she's the first one, and we'll get to the second one in a minute. But Sabrina gives me demure vibes. I like it, like soft life vibes.
yes, she is, and I hope that that James is not going to give her the runaround. Welcome in, Felicia, and let's talk about it all. We are talking about all the episodes. right now for Somebody's Son so we can catch up episodes 1 through 3. And we're going over each son. We've already talked about Joshua and Oma. We're on James and Miss Charlize. And we just found out that Chisholm was sent home. So the next up, the very next morning, the Miss Charlize is like, yeah, we're gonna do an activity. You know, one of James's favorite activities. We going paintballing.
Oh Lord.
What did you think about this? Actually, Aubrey, paintballing.
I don't know. I think you know what. I hope there's a contract that I signed. There's an out because if I have any bruises on this body, it's gonna be a problem. That's all I'm thinking. Like, there's gonna be a problem. They had the helmets on and they had on some kind of, I guess, protective gear. But like, was it Alicia that said basically, "Hey, you know, I hear that this comes with a lot of bruises," and I was with her on that. I don't like bruises on my body.
I don't like it either, but I do like paintballing.
Okay.
I do like paintballing. I really, really do.
So maybe you could answer the question: is it true? Does it bruise you when you are hit with those, with paintballs?
It depends on how close you are. It really depends on how close you are.
Oh,
and if the
okay.
person really fires off on you.
That makes sense. How close you are. Okay.
Yeah. It really depends on how close you are. And Miss Charlize said this is all about communication.
Yes, she did. She did say that.
She said, I need to see how these ladies are communicating with him to complete this mission. And first up on the mission, who is first up? Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I need to get to my notes to see who was first. I think Alicia was first up.
Okay, because I didn't have that in my
Alicia
notes. Okay.
was first up, and she said, we both play Call of Duty, so we got this in the bag.
Oh, yeah, that's right, she did. And then proceeded to not communicate. She proceeded
they barely said a word.
Not communicate. I was like, what?
They barely said a word to each other. And it's like the communication. How are we going through it? This is mission. The fact, I think, because they're in person and it's not on the screen where you have to speak, it's why the communication went off. It went off the rails. Mom was like, they're not communicating.
You know what? Just for a second, let's digress for a second. This kind of takes me to like the Never Ever Mets also on OWN, right? So you have these people that are online talking for months and sometimes years, and they're getting along. They're talking about everything. They're laughing, giggling, and FaceTiming. And then when they meet each other, they ain't got nothing to say. It's awkward.
Ain't got nothing to say.
It's awkward. So yeah, to get back to your paintball analogy, that's my paintball analogy. I think that Alicia thought that it was going to be easy and she was going to communicate, but then when it started happening and the physicality of it all, she forgot to speak.
Sean Unfiltered tells us that Miss Charlize is a tough cookie. God help those ladies. Well,
yes,
they're gonna need it because or she gonna pray them away. Either they got a tough cookie like her, or she gonna pray them away. But these are strays Miss Charlize has allowed to date her son. I don't know how she gonna get. But in this game, Alicia was out. She got hit with the paint. They went hard in the paint at Alicia, and she was out. So of course they kind of lost that round. Then it was James and Sabrina. And I think Sabrina forgot the goal of the mission because apparently James took his hits from Sabrina. She shot him in the buttocks and she shot him in the ankle.
She shot her partner. That's crazy. That is real crazy. Wait a minute.
They are the enemy. I'm the man you want to be with. Why you putting paint on my uniform?
I guess Sabrina wants him to know I may be tiny and demure, but don't play with me.
That she was doing. She was like, hey, I'm gonna get you before you get me. But you're on the same team. Yes, yeah. Sean Unfiltered. James caught that friendly fire from the demure, quiet one. Sabrina came for him. He's like, I didn't know I had to watch my back from you. I thought we was in this. But Saturday thought that, hey, she's like, don't take me for, for quiet one. I'm a real one. I know how to work this. Next up was James and Brevon. She was telling him what to do. She had the mission in hand, and she took another player out. What did you think about Brevon's performance?
Brevon did well. I thought she did well.
Brevon was like, I got your six, you got my six. Brevon went deep cover. Okay.
Yeah.
Brevon took on that uniform and said, oh, my commanding officer, James, you supposed to be my commanding officer, but you ain't doing nothing. I'm gonna take on this mission. I thought that could have turned him a little bit off since she took over, but he got a strong mama, so he might need a strong lady.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. He's a little bit mousy to me, but we'll see. We'll see. Right now he's coming across a little bit mousy, but we'll see.
He's the mama's boy. He's afraid of becoming. He doesn't know he's already there. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we find out from Miss Charlize who won the match. Please tell us, actually, Aubrey, who did she say is the winner?
Oh, I think we better defer back to you.
Girl, Brevon won, and it's a mixology date, one-on-one at the house. I didn't like that part. I don't need my date at the same house your mama and the other ladies at.
Oh, no, that sucks. That's the part I missed out on. And I said, well, where did I miss it? I guess it's toward the end, but that sucks, though. That sucks that we're going to have a date at the house. What kind of cheap shenanigans is this?
Right. Daggone it, can we go down the street? Can we have it here at the paintball place and you send your mama and the girls home?
And Houston has some fabulous restaurants. Let me go get a steak or some Creole food or something. We can't be sitting up here in this house. No.
Not at all. Not at all. I was like, Mama, now y'all should be going out and away from each other for this date. But the fact that she said in the house, I was like, oh, no. No. So is there anything else we find out? Of course, as I said, Brevon won. Is there anything else about Jane, Charlize, and these lovely ladies, which we found out Chisholm went home? Anything else you want to share before we go on to the final son and his mother? Because I got a lot to say about the last one.
I bet you do. Nope, that's it. That's all I got to say about that one right there.
Okay, that was James and Charlize, y'all. We're going on to the last one. The last son and his mother, at least the ones we've been introduced to for these first 3 episodes. Chad and Katina. Chad and Katina.
You gotta say young Katina.
Young Katina. Chad is 30. He is a financial analyst. Katina is his mother. Yeah, he said he's been in 3 to 4 relationships in the past, all because of his career. He's not looking for somebody too promiscuous. And his mama looked at him. What do you mean too? We don't want promiscuous at all. Mom, don't do the half-dressed stuff. If they butt out, Mom, has to go to her room. He said, if the party gets started, Mom, go to your room. She's excited to be bonding with her son in this, and we learned that the last time they lived together, he was in the 8th grade. He has lived with his dad for the past 20 years, and this is their bonding experience. I don't know about you, actually, Aubrey, okay, but I won't be bonding with my parent after 20 years on this show. And Dad lives in Ohio, she lives in Arizona. I need to know the visitation, because this is giving me Boys in the Hood when Mama dropped Trey off to his daddy.
You silly Boys in the Hood. I was wondering when he said that. I was like, what? Like, even if the parents are divorced, don't people still do joint custody? Like, what? I had joint custody. Like, I don't understand. Like, what? I don't understand. I don't understand this 8th grade, and then you didn't live with your mom anymore.
I don't understand it either. But it could be situationally. We don't understand exactly what went on. It is, I have questions. Did he go to her on summers, on his breaks? I have questions because I have questions. Does she have another family now? Did she have more children? That tells me a whole lot of dynamics because I
Oh,
have questions about Chad and Katina. And I'm sorry, Chad, you have two D's in your name, and I'm sorry for the graphic there that only has one. But
right.
I have a question about Chad and Katina's relationship and dynamic. But Mama is a force to be reckoned with. Okay?
You mean young
He
Katina?
said, and Katina,
Young
he
Katina,
said,
yeah.
this is not a house of prayer. When Mom asked if she could pray with the girls, I wanted to pass out laughing.
Yeah.
Sean Unfiltered says, Mama is trying to make up for lost time. It sounds like Mom and son may be unpacking some trauma baggage at this house with the ladies. Ooh, and
Yep.
well,
That's it, Sean. That's what I'm feeling too.
with what I see with these young men, I think it's a good idea, Lady T Bug says.
Well,
Okay?
wait a minute. She
Okay?
thinks she thinks what is a good idea? Oh, that they're living in the same house? Is that
Yeah,
it? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Building
Yeah.
their relationship back together. So, what we find out, the ladies that come to the house is Paige, 28, business analyst, and a part time sports broadcaster. She wants someone to match her hustle, and she did track and soccer. She did soccer for about 14 years. What did you think about Paige?
Yeah, Paige. I like Paige, but I have to say this first of all, and I know it's going to sound petty or whatever, but I'm sorry. The name Paige is forever emblazoned in my mind, emboldened in my mind as Paige from Married at First Sight. So, just the name Paige, I almost wish she could have used her middle name instead of Paige. Yeah, Paige, I liked her. I liked her. I'm just looking for any inklings if she's got any Paige behavior, right?
Okay, Lady Tabor cleared it up. She said boys living with the same sex parent. So the boys living with their dad. She thinks it's a good idea. That's what Lady T-Bug was thinking.
Oh,
Okay.
I see what you're saying. But yeah, but again, even if it's the majority of time, I get what you're saying because I agree with that. And my son almost went to live in Seattle with his dad. But um, the thing about it, though, aren't we having any quality time? Aren't we having like, am I getting him in the summer? Because I can go all year without my son, my children. Mm-mm.
Right. That's why we have questions. I'm hoping we learn about that throughout, the show because
Yeah.
it's giving me that, I kind of keep mom at a distance because she didn't raise me, don't try and control me now is what Chad has given me.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. But next up, coming to the house is Lauren. Lauren is 35. She's a hairstylist. She's looking for someone to start a family with. And she said you got to stand out and get chose, but she is not a pick me girl. She has dated younger, okay, and she's still open to the experience. What do you think about Lauren?
I think Lauren is gorgeous. I think she's beautiful. She seems like she's got a real spunky personality. She's outgoing. I like Lauren. And I think that Chad is going to like Lauren.
I think so too. I think so too. Next up, we have Jasmine, who is 26. She is a student. She wants to plant roots and she studied abroad. She said dating is scary now with all of this AI and hookup culture.
Mm-hmm. And she's right.
And I think I forgot Miranda, 30, HR manager. She wants love unconditionally. She's in corporate HR and she said she does like HR in her dating. She's interviewing these men. But in my notes, I put Miranda gave me, she could pop off at any moment. Miranda gave me,
Mm.
that this attitude could come at you at any time.
Okay. I can kind of see that. I didn't, per se see it directly in this episode, but I think that's an opportunity there for that. I think
So
there's
Katina,
opportunity. Mhm.
mom, she likes Paige and the similarity she has with Chad. She likes Miranda, and the fact that Miranda complimented Paige when they met, but Miranda likes the alcohol. Miranda said, you could fill my glass a little bit more. Well, why don't you pour a little bit more in that
Oh Lord, we got another Kiki. Oh,
We
Kiki,
have,
put that glass down. I mean, Miranda.
yep, Kiki is a person from Never Ever Met Y'all, if y'all looking at another show. Lauren, Mama says, is a grown woman. And she thinks
Yes.
Jasmine is just giddy.
Yes. I wanted to go back and because I think we were on Jasmine, but then you went back to Lauren, I believe. Jasmine is the other second girl that I said is really demure. I like her. I'm really curious to see how she's going to do and if she's going to remain demure to be competitive with these other women. But I really like Jasmine. I think that she just oozes class.
Um, okay, I see what you're saying, and I see that when I saw Jasmine, it gave a hint, just a whiff, not a whole lot of it, of looking down her nose at the other ladies. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I got a whiff of that. I'm not saying she did do that, but it seemed like, oh, she is accomplished. She is a student. She just came back from studying abroad. It was just a whiff of, oh, if this is the competition,
Well,
why are you all still here?
when some folks get over to Europe and come back, they've been renewed and rejuvenated. So yeah, I could see that too. What you're saying, I could see a little tiny bit of snobbery there, just a little tiny,
Yeah,
a
just a
whiff,
whiff,
a
not
whiff.
too much.
Yeah, a whiff. But I still say, because I'm rooting for the soft women now. Like I really liked how she was poised and demure, and like at this point so far, she's not coming across as a pygmisha, but she's very comfortable and confident in her own skin. I like that about her.
Yes, she is. Yes, I do like her. That's why I said it's just a whiff. It's not. I'm not gonna post that on her. It's just what I see with the introduction, but she is carrying herself very well,
Yes.
very very well. But she
Yeah.
is a student. My thing is, he's already in his career,
Mm-hmm.
and she is still, as we see in the comment here, to go to Africa, said Jasmine is still trying to find herself.
Mm.
So, is that going to be a match? She's finding herself. He has, found his career and he's moving forward. I mean, different
It
stages.
Yeah, different stages. Yeah, ages and stages, right? It's gonna depend a lot, I think, though, too, on his maturity and what he's looking for. Because the pluses are with somebody that's still building and finding themselves, and she's so young. The pluses are that she can more so go with the flow than maybe if you pick let's say a 35-year-old and her mind is very strong set on one way of life and and a lifestyle that maybe he doesn't share, in that he doesn't want to share that type of lifestyle. So I think there's the plus in that is that she's young. She's well traveled. She's educated. If she's finishing up her education, I would need to hear more about where she is in her educational journey. Does she have her bachelor's degree? Is she working on her
Right.
master's? That those type of things. Is she in graduate school? And we're talking about, because what are we talking about here? And what does she want to do when she finishes up her educational pursuit?
Right. And since she's, and I'm not throwing any shade. Since she's 26, I'm thinking masters. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
think
thinking
she
as
did say
well.
that. I think she did say masters, and it was,
Mm.
was scholarship. I think that's what she said. But don't quote me. But she's 26, so I'm thinking it is a master's abroad, and I'm thinking maybe she's done. But we need to hear from her.
We need to hear more
Um,
from her to clarify. Oh, and I see
yeah,
that to go to Africa is saying no. If he's ready to get married, I don't think, and I think this is she is the one right now. Okay, I disagree respectfully.
so he goes back and he talks to his mom, and he tells his mom, "Don't embarrass me." Okay, okay.
Right, right.
He is looking like he is not liking that his mom is a part of this. His face is just saying, "Can I be anywhere but here?" I don't know if Chad likes this. He don't even
Mhm.
know. Mom has control. And I said, Lord help us when he does find out.
Yeah, yeah. This is going to be interesting. This son mother dynamic is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out.
So he introduces his mom to the ladies, and the first thing Lauren said is like, "Dang, mama here, I gotta slow down on my cussing."
Okay, okay, sailor boy.
She's like, "I can't be cussing." I'm like, "Girl, why are we cussing at the person you're trying to get with?" So I understand what she means. You gotta button it up a little bit, pun intended. So mom has a same icebreaker like all the other moms had, and she asked about a prenup. What is your position on that? And Miranda said, "Yeah, she's been told, and she gonna have her own secret bank account." But she did not answer the prenup part. And girl, it ain't secret if all of us know that you have that bank account now. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's why I said she's the one that I was thinking of earlier when we were on the last guy, the last bachelor. Yeah, it doesn't have to be secret in this day and age. So my mom was coming from a much earlier era. And my dad, to be honest, so my dad, I always say that he was a Renaissance man. He was a man well ahead of his time because he was the one that told my mother, you can work outside the home or you can stay at home and, raise the baby. It doesn't matter either way. I got all the bills anyway, so don't worry about it.
Now, the fact that I have a bank account is not going to be secret. You may not know which financial institution it's at, but you
Okay.
will know I have an account.
Right. And that's why I say I
Or
think,
maybe the account ain't the only account I have.
there you go. Right. This is 2025. Women have a lot more flexibility. It's good to be maybe a little bit more out in the open, but like you said, and I guess not to be a Debbie Downer, but part of the reason for this, so my mom and dad, I'm gonna just say this, my mom and dad were both married before they married each other, so they had been married and divorced, and my mother specifically had been in an abusive first marriage, right? So part of that reasoning, I think, for her and for a lot of women, because young ladies today don't recognize the fact that it's not so long ago when women couldn't even buy property in just their name. They don't recognize
Right.
that they, the idea of holding a bank account even and writing a check was, just for the men. So that's probably more so the mindset my mother came from, but also having been abused, you should have, I think it's incumbent upon both individuals to be able to get out if need be. If that situation should become dangerous, whether that's violence or whether that's a verbal abuse or financial abuse. Because this is how women get abused financially, is when you put all your eggs in one basket with the mister.
Right.
That's how you can get abused. Not saying you will, but that's how you can, because now you don't have any money of your own.
You don't have a backup plan. Exactly.
No
Now,
backup plan.
Paige, to this prenup question says, don't commit to me with a condition. So Paige is not about the prenup. Paige said, nope, we're not doing it. We're not signing it because, don't commit to me. And it's a condition. This is till, no law, till death do us part. So
Mm-hmm.
what are your thoughts on Paige?
I don't agree with that. And again, I guess because I've dated at different stages in my life, dated as a single woman, dated as a woman, as a single mother. And so, like, as a single mother, for example, I would be looking with the prenup to protect my children. Not to say that I'm not gonna. If I was young enough and we were having children with this husband, that I wouldn't want them to have something coming from my estate. But people do that also too for their children. And then two things that you, even if you don't have children, things that you worked for and you've accumulated before you got married, you want to protect that. So I don't really have a problem with prenups. And I don't understand. I think a lot of people that say they do don't really understand what they're for.
I agree with you. I did have a friend that, her gentleman, they were together for almost 10 years, and he did bring up a prenup, but he was married twice before.
Mm-hmm.
And so he lost substantially in both
Mm-hmm.
divorces. So he wanted a prenup, and she was, to say upset is a very short word for what she was. Her fuse was lit. And I
Yeah.
was like, wait a minute. Why are
Mm-hmm.
you angry? Look
Right.
at the prenup first.
Exactly.
Because
This part, and make sure you have a good attorney to go over it with you line by line. This is what I'm
but
talking
also
about.
Right. But
Usually,
also you can put your own stipulations in
cor-
there.
correct. And this is why I say a lot of people don't really know what they're talking about when they say they're against prenups. They don't know anything about them. They've only heard of prenups as it relates to celebrities and the rich and famous. No, you need to
Right.
research what you're talking about. You need to research it.
Exactly, exactly. And that's why I was telling her, well, wait and see what his prenup is like. And we can comb over it. You get a lawyer. I was too curious too to know what he put in it. And I'm like, you have your own reasons and your own things to protect and future inheritances and all that stuff. You need to think about your protection as well. But she got so upset that they never even got to that stage. Okay. He didn't produce anything because he knew if you lit that fuse already, it was time for the TNT to go kaboom when I do hand you the paperwork.
Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me they never got married?
They ended things. They never got married. He ended things.
And I
They
bet
never
he's
got to the prenup.
and I bet you he's married right now to somebody that was much more reasonable. But I'm just
He,
saying.
he's not. He's not, but he's certainly dating someone with intention. Okay?
Okay, okay. Well, ladies, research what you're being asked, and gentlemen, research what a prenup really is. Have your own attorney, someone that you trust who is skilled, and go over that sucker line by line. That's all I'm saying. Because I wouldn't have a problem with it. I wouldn't have a problem with signing a prenup at all. But like you said, I love what you said, El said. You can strike out and write in things. You can negotiate the prenup, basically.
Exactly. The prenup is just the first offer. It is not set until it is signed, notarized, and filed. You can put your own stipulations in there because I'm sure you have family. She has a mom that she does take care of. I said you could put stipulations into the care of your mom. There's a lot of things you could put in a prenup in case anything dissolves. And you do it now. This is one thing I learned from a lawyer friend of mine. You do it now while you're in love. Because by the time you get to divorce and you are out of love, that is not the time to be trying to slice and dice everything that you have
Nope.
accomplished together.
Nope. It sure isn't.
Okay, Samantha asks, would love your opinion, Elsa, regarding mutual NDAs. That is something else we assume are reserved for celebs. Now,
Okay.
I have no problem with NDAs. I carry my life with some things. As you see, I didn't tell who the friend was. Like if it's NDA or HIPAA
Mm-hmm.
applies.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no problem with NDAs, but how will you enforce it will be my question.
Ah.
And how would you get your significant other to sign it? But this day and age of everything being on IG and on the internet, we the people need NDAs.
Yeah. Well, look at what this current rash of celebrity, and I think this could be anybody. But look at this current, what is it called? Like revenge P. I can't say the
Yes.
word, but think of horn
Yes.
and put a P on it instead of the H, right? So,
Yep.
even a everyday person like myself, if my significant other were to film us and then put it out there, yeah, no, that wouldn't be cool. That wouldn't be cool at all.
Yeah. So regular NDAs, of course, you can have. There are generic ones actually online if you wish to have an NDA, and you can specify what you wish to protect and what so full disclosure of what you expect if y'all do break up. But heck, it is something that we didn't think about before because
Hmm.
people would be like, "Hey, we're done. I'm mad at you. You mad at me. Go to your respective corner and leave me alone." But that is not what's happening, right now. It's kind of like you got to go and see what people got in their social media. Even in dating, how someone talks about their ex will tell you if you the next ex, they're going to be doing
Yes.
this to you.
Yes, exactly. Very much agree. Very much agree with
So
you on that.
you'll know based on dating whether you need in the question portion of it whether you need to have an NDA with this person, how they're going to behave when they are done with the relationship. But going back to these, we're talking about Chad and Katina here. The
Hmm.
next question Katina had was, should Chad be the breadwinner? Who should be the breadwinner? He said because he the alpha male, He should be
I,
the breadwinner.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Is he okay? Okay.
I don't like the whole alpha male conversation. I really don't. I
Okay.
really don't. That's the part I
And
was like, Chad, if you got to tell me you're alpha male, you ain't.
you're not. Yeah. No, he's definitely not. He's a mama's boy, and mama boys aren't alpha males at all. So let's just. What about that part? But
Exactly.
but tell me this real quick, Elsia. Why is it that you don't like the alpha male? Is it not that you don't like alpha males, or you just don't like it being discussed, or what is it?
Put it to the side. I'm sorry, Aubrey. Could you repeat that for me?
I'm saying, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. My son just came to ask me something while you were talking.
Oh, okay. No, I was asking you, what is it about the alpha male that you don't like? Is it the discussing of it and the over exaggeration of it? What exactly is it you don't like about alpha
It's
male?
an over discussing of it. If you have
Yeah.
to tell me that is what you are not,
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to see and feel. And even the way Chad presents himself, how he even stands, how he even ducks his head and looks at his mother.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
not
exactly.
saying
So
that he needs to be disrespectful. I'm just saying the way he presents himself and his body language is
yes.
not giving me alpha male at all.
So it sounds like you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I think Chad wants the reins off. I think he's a thoroughbred, and his mama's got the reins, and he wants to be able to let loose. And I'm wondering because y'all in the previews we see that somebody gets a nighttime visitor, and I'm wondering if Chad ain't that somebody.
Oh, okay, okay.
Did you see the clips? Oh yeah, we have some night vision in a room, and somebody got a nighttime
Oh
visitor.
yeah, yeah,
One of the
yeah.
men.
Okay, yeah, I do remember now what you're talking about, but I'm wondering who that is though. Do you
As
have?
Lady T-Bug tells us, BDE does not need any introduction. That is the best way to say it. Thank you, Lady T-Bug.
Uh-huh.
BDE does not need any introduction. Aubrey, have we scandalized you?
Yes, yes, you have. I'm sorry. You know what? I was looking. I was doing something over on from your channel to my channel to see if I could stream now because I had meant to do it. Remember when I was on my phone and I wasn't logged in? I meant to
Okay,
stream it also over on my channel. If that's okay with you.
that's fine. I have the permissions on there. That's perfectly fine. Anyone
Okay.
who comes on with me, they are certainly welcome to stream on their channel as well.
But you know what's
So
going
the
to be?
next question,
Go
uh-huh.
ahead. I'm sorry. No, go
The
ahead.
next
Go ahead.
question Miss
Mhm.
Katina had is, what are your boundaries with a partner? Lauren said that you are to swerve another woman, any woman. You're not to hug her. You are only to touch her hand to shake it or do a fist bump. Chad said he understands. And Jasmine says she needs time to think about this. And he is concerned that she doesn't have boundaries with her partner. What were your thoughts on Chad, and this whole boundaries with your partner and Lauren's answer?
I'm kind of. Oh, hey there. Life is reality. What's up? I'm kind of like the person that needs some more time to think about it because I don't think this is something I've ever really just sat down to think about. I feel like whatever is appropriate. If your man is a respectful man and he's not can I say hoe? Is that okay?
Hey, he's a 304, or he just
A
community property if
304.
you want to see community property.
Community property, yes. If your man is and he's not a community property type of guy, I feel like this should not ever be an issue. I'm not, and maybe two other thing I have to say is I'm not a jealous person at all, and in my nature. So, like, say for example, I could see my guy if he sees a old friend and he gives them a hug and they reach out and they put their arms open. I don't have a problem with him hugging another lady. I don't. But then again, now if he reaches out and just hugs some stranger and then his hands drifting all down on her behind, I got a problem.
So
So
he can come home smelling like perfume.
Well, okay, I guess in this scenario, here was the thing though. In this scenario, I was present both times. So, now that brings up another point. No, he should not be coming home smelling like perfume. So yeah, that's a very good point. Or with the lipstick on his collar, on his white collar. No, he should not be doing that. No.
Right. I mean, and it may not be him doing anything, but we do
Oh,
have people out here
oh
trying
yeah,
to cause a ruckus in people's relationships. So he can
absolutely.
have, right, he can have an innocent, hips turned away hug, and somebody could just press their lipstick against his collar because they know she gonna see. You have to protect not only yourself but the
Hmm.
relationship that you have.
That's
So
it.
I understand what she's saying, but this man has a mama there, and Miss Katina is gonna be hugging her son, and I'm sure he has other female relatives. He certainly can, but I understand her premise of, hey, this is a we didn't hear strange and we didn't hear new woman. We just heard if you come around a woman, you better shake her hand and curve her. And Miss
Okay.
Jasmine,
Yeah.
as you said, needed time to think. So, did you have anything else to say with this boundaries portion?
No, not really. I'm curious though. What our viewers, whether they be live or whether they be on the replay gang. I'm very curious, guys. What do you think? What do you think is the answer? And is there a standard answer? Because that's kind of what I guess I was trying to say to you, El Sid. I don't think there is. For me, I don't think there is a standard answer because just like if I see a guy friend versus a work colleague versus a neighbor versus a church member, these are different kind of greetings, perhaps, right? For me. Um,
Right.
but I would always, I love what you said, and that's the key thing is that I would always be respectful of my partner and the relationship. And I used to tell my daughter when she was younger, she was away at college. Um, this one time I came to visit her and she had the door closed. Now my daughter braids hair. She's been braiding hair for years since, middle school. And so the guys would come to her to braid their hair, right? So we go to open the door and she's braiding hair. The guy's in between, like as we do, like she's sitting up and he's between her legs. And I just told her, I said, here's the thing with that is sometimes the appearance of things. So maybe you could leave your door open because I didn't like the way that looked, even though I knew exactly what she was doing and there was no fooling around going on. My daughter's not ever been a loose girl, so I can appreciate that. But it's the appearance of things. So to get back to what you were saying, it's the appearance of things because somebody could be out and see your husband hugging XYZ person, and then it's a whole thing, right?
Right. And I have to say, I have had to edit myself. I was raised around a group of male friends. I was the only girl amongst us.
Mm-hmm.
And being raised from Pampers to them, I have a certain affinity and, comfortability around them. And I'm one
Right.
of the boys. But when you grow up and you age up, and then I have to think of, if I date someone, will they understand, one, these relationships with these guys, and two, how we present it to them? I have to be prepared for a partner to be uncomfortable with it. And I have to
Yeah.
be prepared to edit myself. And I have had to have a conversation, and I have had to cut, one of them real close and be like, yo, I can't, hug you guys like I would, and, shadow box
When
with
I was
y'all.
single, when I was single.
Exactly. Cannot. Cannot. We can't be sitting on the same couch, head to toes and hanging out, and we can't. There's a certain form of respect for the relationship. If my
Yes.
partner says that's uncomfortable to him,
Yes.
that we've got to adjust.
Did you see what Kimberly Review said? Yeah, I was just
Yes.
gonna say that's it. She says just a uh handshake only. Thanks for going over to my channel, Kimberly. I appreciate that. Handshake only, is the other one. That was the comment. Handshake only. And yes, the appearance of things, because that's actually very important. And a lot of people don't. I think nowadays people are very careless about a lot of different things and including appearance. And I'm not talking about personal appearance. I'm talking about the appearance of it looks like something shady could be going on.
Right. Samantha also says, I absolutely had to edit myself because I'm naturally an affectionate person. Um, you
Yes.
know, pet as well as people. So yes, and I have been
Yes,
told that too
Samantha.
by my husband. I would have a conversation with a complete stranger, and my husband is like, "Well, you were kind of flirty there," and I'm like, "I was just friendly." But I'm like, okay, well, what part of that was flirty to you? Because that's the part I need to edit out.
Right.
And he's like, you were just overly exuberant, and I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
understand. I ain't even touch nobody. I ain't lay a hand on your shoulder, but you thought it was too inviting. Now
Yeah.
I gotta pull back.
Yeah, and men
I
are
gotta
like
pull back.
that. Men are like that. I work around a lot of men, and I recently had somebody tell me that when I went to just touch his shoulder, that he got a vibe, and I was like, "Huh? What?" But I am, as to what Samantha's point, I am very affectionate. I'm very touchy, and it doesn't mean a whole lot necessarily. Like, especially if I'm just touching you on your shoulder, don't get excited. But we do have to learn sometimes how to edit ourselves, right?
Exactly, exactly. And we may be a certain way, but that, we need to understand how that translates to our partners. We have to know, and vice versa. Like I've, told him, you know, and he's not, but I've told him, certain behavior patterns that I'm like, oh, okay, that doesn't look good. I know you don't have any intentions to it,
Mhm.
but that could be misconstrued by the other party,
Mhm. Mhm.
that they may have an in to create a wedge. So
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
totally understand. And yes, as Aubrey said, please put it in the comments below. Let us know, what are your boundaries with a partner. Do you agree with Lauren? Should you swerve all women, including his mama? Because I didn't hear except your mama. And just handshake and fist bump only. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, as you listen to this. So the last thing, I didn't know why we had this question, but she asked Chad, what would you do if you found out your partner isn't wearing any underwear? And Chad said he don't care. And Mama said you need to wear it around me.
Oh, what? Okay.
Now, that to me, I was like, that's a little too much. That's too much. Mama didn't need to know all that. Didn't need to know all that. Mama did not need to be a party to this. And that's your business. Because you know what? It's underwear. It's under, away from my view. I don't need to know.
Right. Right. What? Yeah. What? Well,
Okay.
it's so funny to me. I was looking at this the other day. Like, so years ago, my daughter pointed out to me that they now have um this underwear, the underwear now that doesn't leave any indentations. So it looks like you're not wearing underwear. And my first thought to that years ago was, why would I want to look like I'm not wearing underwear? I'm a good church girl, right? But now years later, fast forward, I totally get that when you're in certain types of material and certain dresses and certain clingy pants, even, or whatever, why you would want that to look like you don't have on any underwear. And no disrespect to the people that literally walk around with no underwear on. I just couldn't do it.
Mine is called Mind Your Business.
Okay. Yeah, that was a weird question for his mother to be asking, wasn't it?
Unless your pants are riding low and your lines are above, and it's no longer under what you're wearing, to me it's called mind your business. Mama was a little, she was a tad uncomfortable with it, but she went with the flow. So Chad and Mom went in the back and they were talking about, what their thoughts were, and then Mama finds out, she decides who goes home. I expected Chad to pitch a fit. What did you think about when they reacted to finding out Mama gets to choose?
Yeah, they that was not going over well with the ladies, right? And I think you and I can understand why it wouldn't go over well with the ladies, because it's going to be some clashes between what the mother thinks and who she thinks should go home, and what who Chad thinks should go home.
So he said he loves his mom, but he would not put this in her hands. It felt like he was under the surface bubbling mad, because
Yeah.
he said he hopes she does not send the wrong one home, because this can cause a rift. If I ain't lived with my mama for over 20 years, y'all, If I live my mother over 20 years, why in the world would she be checking for my partner when she didn't raise me?
Now, as a mother, you can't stop those motherly feelings. Um, you just can't. You just can't. So, and until we know more about why this was, or if maybe they exaggerated a little bit in this early episode, I think I'm going to wait to pass judgment on mom not being able to pick and choose for her son, or at least give her opinion about it.
Well, Chad said he don't want to put it in her hands. But again, with all the young men, I'm saying it's already been in your hands all these years, and you ain't picked. So again,
Mm-hmm.
something you're doing is wrong or off. So you need some guidance from Mama. This is what the show is about. So he probably thought she was just guidance, but I wonder if Mama gonna be making all the picks. And I was just expecting Chad's head to explode and for him to be like, oh heck no. But he looked like it. He looked, pissed off, absolutely pissed off. But he kept it under wraps.
How just quick question. How much do you think he's going to be able to keep his feelings under wraps as we move along? Because I think somewhere along the way we're going to have a blow up.
Oh, it's already coming out. It's already coming out just with their interactions on that couch. When she said, "Oh, when the butt starts showing," he's like, "Mommy, then you go to bed." It's it's already come out in his little
Mm-hmm.
subtle ways of, this is how I have lived my life. And we find out when she talks about one woman, I think it may be too much woman for you. He's like, you don't know the kind of woman I can handle. It has been coming out
Yeah,
already with
yeah.
Chad.
He did snap at her on that. Like, yeah, you don't know what kind of woman I can handle. And I would say that's a good point too, though. Like, he was clearly irritated. Oh, you can that's my
He
advertisement
has
for
been
Honey Love.
right. He has been irritating and showing his irritation. And while I'm glad he didn't pitch a fit, it has been oozing out of him. This, his little snips to the mother. And when
Hmm.
they talk, they both like Paige. Mama said Paige is an alpha female, and Chad says that she will step up and take the lead if necessary. What do you think about their assessment of Paige?
Hmm. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure Paige out. What do you feel?
I agree kind of like with that assessment because I don't know if Paige would choose Chad. I don't I don't know if Paige would choose him. But I need to see more of Chad. I need him to stop ducking his head down. I need to see more of Chad actually coming into his own. So it's still too early to tell because we just met him. But I
Yeah,
don't know if he gonna rise to the occasion for Paige.
we
For
shall see.
Miranda, yep. For Miranda, mom says she's go with the flow, but she gonna hide some money. And Chad said that is not rubbing him the wrong way. So he's okay with Miranda hiding that money.
Right, right, because he's thought about it, and like most, would these, they're considered millennials, correct? Like most millennials, he's aware that this is the norm nowadays. Women are working, and women are outpacing, at least in the Black community, outpacing men with degrees and sometimes their earnings. So, I don't think this should be unusual for anybody to think that you're going to have a separate account or a secret account necessarily. As long as you guys have agreed on financially what each partner's role is financially, I think that should not be an issue.
And he's a financial analyst. She can't hide much from him. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go
Right,
there.
right, right, right.
Can't hide much from him being a financial analyst. He may be hiding more from her. Um,
Ooh.
but I'll leave that there. Um, Mom thinks that Jasmine travels too much. Is that a concern?
Well, what if the two of them were traveling together? I mean, is mom concerned that Jasmine is going to be traveling by herself or with her girlfriends? What exactly is mom's concern about the traveling?
I think mom is concerned that they're going to travel and be too far away from her.
Mm, okay. Now that I could kind of understand, but at the end of the day, if his mother decides that she's going to be smothering both during this show and both in real life, I think that's going to be problematic because I don't think he is as mm, passive, let's
Mm,
say, as
right,
you know,
right.
let's say for example, the other guy, I think it's James.
James.
Yeah, I don't think he's as passive, so that will be problematic if mother decides to be overbearing and controlling. And that's a real challenge when you have adult children. So it took me some time to learn the balance, and then there's a different balance per each child, right? Like
Yes,
how involved
there
you're going to
is.
be in their adult life and how much you're going to let go and let them be their own person. That's a
Right.
challenge, and it can be
Because what?
painful. It can be
Because
painful
what?
because you've been
Mhm.
so involved before. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Mama says she ain't considering what Chad say he want. Okay, so that's why this mother gonna be a challenge.
Ah, yeah. Now that's a real problem right there.
Mama got control. She is holding on to control, and she is going to wield that control. And I think that's the problem that Chad is having. That daggone and y'all gave mama control, and y'all just don't know what that's going to do to my life. But I think
Mm.
she's just concerned that they're going to be traveling. They're going to be far away from her, and she gonna have to make appointments to see them because they may not be home at the time. Now, Lauren, mom says maybe too much woman for Chad. And Chad said, mom has not seen him in his element, so she won't know what's too much woman for him.
Yeah, yeah. I have to agree. I have to agree with Chad on that. I don't think mom really knows what baby boy, in quotation marks, is like when he's dating. She doesn't. If what he said, what we believe is true, that he's lived away from his mother since eighth grade. Um, and I think we're all different people with different people to some degree, if that makes sense. So who he is around just his mother and his father is going to be different than who he is as a man pursuing a woman.
Correct? The young man from eighth grade, the young man that his father raised him, and she has raised him to be as well. As he said, we have not cohabitated in 20 years. There's a difference with, parenting from a distance as to
Yep.
now. But Chad also, even if mama was in the house, Chad seems to me as the child that would date and keep whoever he's dating away from the home unless this is going to be a fiance.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you with that assessment. I think so
So
too.
even if they were in the same state or the same household, I don't think Chad and the way my mama is so, you know, so I hate to say strong or whatever, so assertive. I would say that mother will have a heavy judgment on whoever he's dating, so he ain't gonna take them home. But she said she is not taking his thoughts into consideration in making her choice for him.
Hmm.
So Aubrey, who did mama send home?
Oh, I'm
Mama
sorry.
sent
It's me. Miranda, the 30-year-old HR girl that was given a little bit. Someone said it in the chat earlier. She was given a little bit of homey vibes.
Miranda was sent home because mama didn't like the way she wanted her drink topped off too much. But Chad was pissed. And mama said he gonna get over it because it is her choice. Now we already seeing this already going back and forth with mama and son. What are your thoughts on this? With Chad and his mama with this first elimination.
Yeah, we're gonna see some fireworks. I think they're gonna be probably a very dynamic mother and son team on this show, and I think we're gonna get some drama out of these two. So it's not just the women we're gonna see the drama from, but I think it's going to be some interaction between these two that is going to be very pertinent. So
Very,
just my
very.
thought. What about you? How do you feel?
Yeah, I think these two, it's the dynamic of their relationship and the choosing of the young ladies, while the others, we have a little bit of it, but I think that these two, there may be friction with this relationship because mama is in control and she's letting him know she is in control, and he gonna like it whether he likes it or not. So in the previews we find out James gets a photo shoot, Chad is doing a photo shoot, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Chad also said that, he came here to get to know these women, but his mom is the biggest stranger of them all. What did you think
Yeah.
about that line from Chad?
That was scary. That gave me some ominous vibes. That's why I say I think we're gonna see some explosions, whether they be minor or major or in between. I think we're gonna see some things go down between this mother and this son. And hopefully the two of them are able to maybe work out the underlying problems, issues that have nothing to do with him dating anyone.
Right. Hopefully they can navigate this together and
Yes.
come out with a stronger relationship, as mother and son. And I think it can happen. I think it's just communication. She needs to tell him why she thinks a certain young lady is best for him. And
Yes.
he's got to explain why he likes a particular young lady. What are the character keys? Because it can't be just a good time. It can't be just a good time because that's all you've been having, Chad, is a good time.
That's it. That's it. That's all.
but
It
but
it
mama got to
can't be
know that
just
she's
that.
here to help her son and not cause any harm. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on Chad and Katina before we try to wrap this up?
I just really think that Chad is gonna have to be extra understanding with his mom and uh be mindful of his words and mindful of his body language and just really look to grow his relationship with his mom and to understand her. But you said the key thing though too, uh, uh, between both of these people, it's going to be about communication and communicating with love.
Exactly, they both have to bring the love into it. And while he's trying to seek love, mama has to understand there's a tightrope. You don't want him to then resent the lady that you chose because you are wrestling this control with him, because this can backfire.
Right. Exactly. It can.
And the
It
lady don't understand why she catching a stray when it's some back office dealings between mother and son. This is a tightrope that they're on. You have to like the person, but you are finding a love for your son, and he has to like the person and not be lashing out. This is where I see sometimes, not all the time, a gentleman could be lashing out at their significant other because of a strained relationship, unhealed relationship with their mother.
yes. Whole nother topic, girl.
Whole
Whole
other
nother
topic,
topic.
and I will have to grab onto that topic the next episode that we do together.
Yes.
Y'all, I wish to thank actually Aubrey for being here. We covered episodes 1 through 3 because I wasn't watching it, but we are caught up and we'll do one episode a week. Actually, Aubrey, please let everybody know where to find you. What are you covering?
Oh yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. Actually, Aubrey on YouTube. It's actually Aubrey dot space pod, short for podcast. I'm covering right now the Never Ever Met, also a show on OWN. You got to come over and find out whether Kiki ever kicks her drinking habit or not. And I think that for right now, that's it. We're gonna be doing, and that's oh, by the way, that's with Jr. from Life Is Reality channel, also on YouTube. You can find me on most social medias, all social medias under the name Actually Aubrey. And we will be doing more as the summer comes along and we get back into Ready to Love. That's been my staple for years. Is the Ready to Love crew. Go to my channel if you want to see interviews with some of the Ready to Love stars, quote unquote. And that's about it. And I just really appreciate El Cid having me here. And El Cid also, I'm so grateful that she came on the channel last Sunday to do the Never Ever Met. She was wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was really fun with you and Life is Reality. We had a good old time talking about the recent season of Never Ever Met. That is also on OWN, where people are dating online and they finally meet each other and all have to live in the house together. Now, a caveat I will throw out here for this one, Somebody's Son, I would like, and I put it out there, I would like to know if we could have a cookout with all the ladies and all the guys and all the mamas. And if we can't see if one of the ladies want to change houses, change
That
which son she want to vie for.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. I'm wondering that, but you didn't mention something that on the I think it was this was it the second or third episode, there's some coming up little vignettes they showed us. And did you see how they're almost like Ready to Love? They were like on a bridge at the end when the guy was picking his.
Yes,
Okay, did you see who is it? Wait a minute, hold on. Look at my notes. It's
James.
yeah, I think it was yes. It was James and we don't see the woman's face, but I feel like I have a pretty good idea which one of the ladies it would be based on her physicality. Did you see that? And what did you
I
think if
did,
you
and he asked if we want to exclusively date, and somebody said, "No, I'm not sure." So yeah, it's going to be spicy. That's why I said it's exclusive dating, but it will definitely be spicy, and we will be here for it. And yes, Samantha, y'all know if y'all are here, y'all know I stir things up
Yes,
on
she
this channel.
does.
I'm always thinking of another way to put a twist in it, and if the ladies can switch up and say, "Yeah, I'd rather go to his house and vie for his attention. Let me talk to his mama." We could definitely think about doing that. And here on this channel, if you know it, you know it. Elsa 932. I cover Love is Blind. I cover a lot of the dating shows. I also cover right now Somebody's Son. Um, and we're going over, how can I say it? I have people are putting requests for advice out there on the internet. So I have a segment called Unsolicited Advice where I bring you a relationship question. It's some spicy, some not so spicy, but we do give unsolicited advice. So please make sure you check out that segment. You check out all my Love is Blind coverage. And I find in the comments we are an international group. So apparently, Love is Blind Netherlands is also casting. So we have a lot of Love is Blind coming up for the season. And I also cover Never Ever Met on Another Round JS. And I do that with Just Rhonda 01. We usually do it on Fridays, but this week it has changed. So I'll put it on my community wall where you can find me, leave a little breadcrumbs so we could always get together and stir things up, as Samantha said, the way we do it here. But
Samantha
thank you
has.
so much, actually, Aubrey.
You're
It's
welcome.
wonderful having you here, and we're going to team up again.
Yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to try to beg, plead, and steal and borrow you for Sunday's episode because I got a feeling this is going to be off the charts this Friday, and for Sunday's episode for our live chat, right?
Awesome. No problem. So, y'all, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you on the next one.